Well, good morning. This is Linda from North Central Texas. We're going to get on here this morning and see if we can fix a pig planter. I've got one in the yard already, and it's made just a little bit different, but it's basically the same thing. And I do have a lot of stuff out here this morning. First of all, what you're going to need is about 6 of just regular water bottles, because 4 of them you're going to cut the tops out of, but you need the lid on it. You need the lid, and you just cut the very top off just before you get down to where the paper starts, the wrapper, that's around it. And you need 4 of them, because that's going to be the legs of your pig. And then you need like a gallon size bottle of some kind. Now this is just a Clorox bottle, and I rinsed it out, and it's got a number 2 on the bottom, so it's food safe, so I know I can, it's safe to grow anything in. And really I don't need the handle on it, but I'm going to leave it on there just because it's there. And I said I don't think it'll hurt it too bad since that handle is on it. But anyway, what we're going to do is try to trace, and it don't have to be exact, the spot we're going to cut out. You can see I drew, I don't know if you can see that there, but I'm just drawing a line. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And what we're going to do is just basically cut it out, because that's going to be the top of our planter. I had forgot to get me a knife over here. Because you need to start your hole. You can't cut it with a scissor without starting a hole in it. And you can cut it with a knife. I mean, if you can hold it steady enough and all that with a knife, then you can use a knife. I can't. I make a mess if I use a knife, so. I started my hole, and then I'm just using a scissor to cut out the hole with. And I'm hoping you can see that okay. But somebody had asked me where I got my pig planter that's sitting out in my rock garden. And I told them, I said, they want to know where I bought it. I said, well, I didn't buy it, I made it. And they wanted to know what it was made out of, and I told them just water bottles. Because I did have a big, like, gallon size, or almost a gallon size, water bottle that I made the first one out of. But you can see, I just cut the hole in it right here. And you can cut it a little bit further down. I don't want to cut it too big, so I can always cut it bigger. And I'm just going back and I'm trimming the edges off of it. And then you can cut it down just a little bit further if you want. Now, since my first one was all clear, I did paint the whole thing like a flesh color to make it look like it was a pink pig. This one is white, so I don't think I'm going to paint the body of it. I think I'm going to leave it white. But you see, I cut the hole right here. Now, next thing I'm going to do, and I hope I rinse that out good enough because I don't want to get Clorox on anything. We're going to put the legs on. And let's see. I'm going to try using some of this Gorilla Glue to just temporarily hold them on there. I tried hot glue on my other pig and it was okay. The only problem is I don't know how good that Gorilla Glue is going to stick, because we're going to put other glue around it. But I want something to hold the legs on where I'm going to put them until I put the permanent glue on. And I tried to find a fast set glue, but I'm finding even the ones that say that they're fast set are not really fast setting glue. And I may end up using my hot glue gun. I'm not sure. Maybe I better plug it in just in case. Get over here and get it. The only thing about the hot glue, if you're not careful, you get so hot that it melts the plastic on the leg. You know, the piece of water bottle you cut off. And if you're not careful, it just melts it so you can't even do anything with it. But maybe if we do this, like I said, I just need something to hold it in place until I can either put the tacky glue on or do it with a hot glue gun. And it's not cooperating. And it was freezing this morning. It got down to like 35, 36 last night. And I turned my electric blanket on again to warm my bed up, because it did get kind of cold. And see, this is a E6000, which is a fantastic glue, but it doesn't dry really quick. And I need something that will dry pretty quick. Let's see here. And it would help if I had something to hold this in until I got ready to glue the legs. This is Gorilla Glue that I got here. It's on a strip. And it will hold something in place for you at least. Hopefully. Well, we'll get it. Just bear with me. It's like I want glue that'll dry like now, you know. I don't want something that's going to take forever to dry. But if I can get this held in place, maybe I can go around with the hot glue and kind of I should have had it plugged in already, but I really didn't think I was going to have to use this hot glue. But I can see now I am. Just bear with me, guys. We'll get this thing done. Maybe if I do it this way with something that's going to hold it there. And it'll melt it a little bit, but hopefully it's not going to melt it enough to mess up the legs. And I will paint the legs. I've got some acrylic paint that I'm going to use to paint them. So they will be white. And I'm going to put drain holes in the bottom. But I didn't want to get the drain holes put in until I put my legs on. If any of you has worked with hot glue, you know how stringy it can be, but that's okay because we're going to fix it later. Those little strings will just pull right off. And if, like I said, if you're real careful, it'll melt a little bit of the plastic that's on the leg. But it won't be too bad. Need to let that cool just a little bit. And get over here on the other one and finish it. And there's might be a little gap on the underside, you know, where the leg touches the bottle. But that's okay because you can fill it in with the hot glue gun. And then after you get the legs secured, of course, you can go back later and just fill it in with, if you got any holes, you can fill it in with glue. Won't necessarily have to use the hot glue, but like I say, the hardest part about making these is holding it, because it wants to slide around with you. You need like 4 hands to do this. And my hands are wanting to cramp on me this morning. But that glue will melt that plastic. You just have to be careful with it. Fill it in with the hot glue. And it might look a little messy, but that's okay. It's going to be on the underside of it. You can't see it back there anyway. Hold it and let it dry just a minute so it doesn't come off. If you've got a glue that you can use that's a really fast setting glue, then that'll probably work better than what I'm doing. Because the legs are just on there for looks anyway. And I got them a little bit too high up. I should have went down further. But that's okay. They're on there good enough. Well, what did I do with my other ones? There's one. There's two. And you might come up with an easier way to do this than I'm doing it. I mean, you never know. I mean, how y'all liking this cooler weather? I mean, I know they'd been predicting we were going to get some colder weather like about now, but and that it would get down to like about 35. But that was just going to be one night. The other nights it's going to, I mean, it's going to warm back up. Yeah, I wished I'd have put those legs a little bit further out, but that's okay. Yeah, you'll be surprised how this hot glue will melt this plastic. Yeah, I'm going to go around with hot glue, get them all on there, and then I'll go back around and put my other glue on it to fill in the holes, if I have any. But this hot glue will hold it in place. And some people may not even care that there is holes. I think I've got a couple of holes in the legs of the pig that I've got out there now. If it was a harder plastic, it wouldn't melt like that. Or if the glue gun, if the hot glue didn't get quite as hot, it would not melt the plastic, but it does. Now it doesn't melt the body, you know, the white one, but it will melt. It will melt the clear water bottles because they're real thin. And I'm not getting these exact, I mean, just hold it in place until it dries a little bit. Because you know how hot glue is. Yeah, I have a trick of wetting my fingers a little bit if I touch the hot glue. That way it doesn't stick and I can maybe pat it down a little bit in areas that I want it. Like I said, I can get it held in place with the hot glue. Even though it does melt. The plastic on that water bottle. You know, the leg part, it will. that dry a little bit. And get hardened a little bit, I mean. If I had all the time in the world, I could put it on there with some tape and hold it on there so just regular glue would dry, but trying to do the video, you don't have that much time. Yeah, if I'd have had to do it over, I would have put the little legs probably further down on the belly. But when you do yours, you can do it the way you want it. You can put them further down. Not have them so high up on the side. And I'm sorry I did that, but oh well. Seems like nothing ever works out 100% when you're doing it by filming it. If I wasn't filming it, it would probably work out fine. Yeah, I guess my pig that I've got out there already looks pretty good since I painted and everything. And I had flowers planted in it. Because the person that asked me about it thought it was ceramic. And I said, no, it's just made out of plastic water bottles. And that one was. I didn't use a Clorox bottle. The big bottle was a big water bottle. I just don't happen to have a big water bottle, so I'm using this plastic Clorox bottle. Now, you can see how my legs are on there. Or maybe you can't see them, because since they're clear, but when I get them painted, you'll see them. And he looks like he's kind of got his head dipped down. But usually that's the way a pig looks anyway. He's got his head down eating. But you see there's plenty of room in there to put your dirt, your potting soil, or whatever you're going to put in there. I didn't get him quite even, but that's okay. Like I said, if I had it to do over with, I would have made it, put the legs down further. But since they're not, I'm just going to leave it. And I've got E6000 here, but I don't know how much of it I can get out of this thing. You know what? I got tacky glue I can use. Or you can just use glue, Elmer's glue, since you got it in place. course, it might run everywhere. Kind of fill up the holes. That way, at least when it rains, water won't go in the holes and set up in the legs to cause mosquitoes. Need a paper towel. That wasn't such a good idea because it wants to run everywhere. Really need your tacky glue. And I've got tacky glue, and for the life of me, I don't know what I did with it. I don't even know what I did with the lid to that now. Okay, don't know what I did with my tacky glue. There it is. Right there. Oh. I had the tacky glue out the other day because you know I was putting it on the holes on my planner and I didn't put it back in the exact same spot I always have it in, so wasn't sure where it was. I mean, the other glue will work fine, it's just that it wants to run everywhere. It doesn't want to dry fast enough. You know what? I got to take my sweater off. It was cold this morning, and I didn't want to turn the heat on because I knew it was going to warm up today. So I put this sweater on, and it sure felt good. Put my sweater on, got me a couple cups of coffee in me, and I was fine. May end up having to do this video in 2 parts because I don't know if I've got enough memory to do the whole thing on my phone. But it'll be one video by the time you see it, even if I do so. I love doing crafts and stuff like that. My only problem is the money to buy the materials to do it all. I'm all for not spending money if I don't have to spend it. So I may end up having to paint this thing just to cover up the glue. And I don't like the fact the way the glue is dripping, because it's getting all over my table. Put me a paper down. Let it get on the paper and not the table. That's the bad thing about doing stuff and you don't have a lot of room to do it. But you get the idea of what I'm doing. You just cut the tops off of your bottles, and that's your pig's legs. And it don't even matter if there's a few holes. More than likely the water's not going to go in it anyway. But the tacky glue works a little bit better. Like I said, I need 4 hands instead of 2. Because you fill up your holes that are there, that hot glue gun melted out. When you paint over your leg, you're not going to see the holes anyway. There, I think that's good enough. Ah, I got that glue all over my hands. Now, I'm going to paint his feet. Make sure my camera's still on. Yeah, it's on. Because I was filming away on my last video. My camera cut off with me and I didn't know it. And what we're going to do is just take a little brush and paint the feet on my pig black. And that's basically just painting the little caps, the lids. And again, they don't have to be perfect. I may have to repaint those because I forgot I got to paint the legs, don't I? Got glue on my fingers again. But you can see the hot glue is holding the legs. It's holding the legs on until you can get that tacky glue and stuff on there and it gets dried. Or sometimes you may not even need the tacky glue. Just depends. Paintbrush is not all the best in the world. I didn't get the best one I had, that's for sure. My only problem with crafts is I have to watch myself because I'll end up with crafts everywhere. And you know what? We still got to paint make the ears and the tail. And you just basically make that out of another piece of plastic. Let's see if I can make it here. Get this dried off. And again, you don't have to be perfect with the ears. By no means you have to be perfect. There's one ear. Because as you well know, pig's ears flop around. And these are not going to be able to flop around because they're going to be made out of plastic. And I'm just going to cut 2 slits in the top to slip them in. And we're going to glue them, but you need 2 slits to stick them in. So he's got ears on him. And I'm going to put just a little bit of the glue. I have lost the lid to my glue here. I don't know what I did with it. It's somewhere here. But I don't want to use this. Oh, I know, this lid screws down, so I didn't lose my lid. But I'm going to put the tacky glue on the ears. Well, you know what? I've got my hot glue gun hot, and this is a harder plastic that the ears are on. So I can just go ahead and put that on there. You know, that's the idea right there. If you had a couple of other bottle lids, tops, that you could cut instead of the little water bottles, that's a thicker plastic, then you'd be able to put the hot glue on there, and it probably wouldn't melt the plastic as bad. Because it's not melting this harder plastic that's on this Clorox bottle. See, if you saved up your bottles and use the harder plastic, the plastic wouldn't melt. Now, it may be just as hard to get your legs on there if you had a harder plastic. I'm not sure. But, and I want my ears to kind of stick up. And I want them bent just a little bit. So you have to work with them to try to get them shaped the way you want them. And I just bend mine, the edges toward the center of the outside, because that's the way the pig's ears are shaped. And hopefully that hot glue will, when it dries, will hold those ears in place. Just have to hold them a minute. Now, some of that tacky glue is just, or not tacky glue, it's the Elmer's glue. It's just runny. Runny, runny, runny everywhere. All I did was throw my paper towel away. I need to turn this the other way because I got glue everywhere. There. Oh no. That's not cooperating. See, when you do stuff on live, or you're trying to record it, everything goes bad. Nothing works out. You'll make all kind of messes when you're trying to record something. It's just a good thing this glue will wash off before it dries, or I would have a mess. But I do need to get me another newspaper. Now, I got his ears on. But we got to get him a tail. And usually I cut the softer plastic for the tail because I want it to curl up a little bit. Don't know if this will curl up or not. Let me see. I haven't tried this harder plastic to curl. So I'll have to see on it. It'll curl. Because you know pigs have curly tails. Little curly tails. You have to keep working with it to make it curl the way you want it. Yeah, the next one I make, I think I'm going to use a harder plastic top to cut off for the legs. Just hold that till it dries. And we got his little tail on. You can't see that very good because I guess I should have wore a darker shirt and it would have showed up a lot better on it than it does right now. Sorry about that, my camera cut off. So I had to wait and get it started again. But while the camera was off, I went ahead and painted my pig. He's just a tan color. So now I got to repaint the feet black. Readjust that camera a little bit. There, that's a little better. Now, some of the paint off that little paintbrush. These are old paintbrushes, so it don't matter. One thing I'm going to do, since I've got my hot glue gun hot, and you can't see it because you're way up there, but what I'm going to do is get buttons, 2 black buttons, that I think would be the correct size for his eyes. And I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm going to put his eyes right here on each side. I can get over here without getting into the paint. I was going to paint them on, but then I decided no, I'd rather put him some button eyes on. So just put your little bit of glue right there where you want his eyes to be. And then if you can see that, I'm just putting the buttons right on the glue. So, he's got 2 eyes. And another thing we're going to paint, because I don't think I've got, well, maybe I do have them. Let me see. I may have 2 black buttons small enough for his spout, his snout. Yeah, I think I do. I have 2 little bitty small buttons. Find another one just like the one I just got. Oh, that's not it. That's white. Ah. See it in there? I keep getting my hands on it. There it is. I got 2 little black buttons that I'm going to put right on the end for his snout. I think I need to get me another glue gun. Well, I think that's enough in there. But anyway, we're going to turn this thing up and see where the cap is. I'm going to put glue on each side of the cap. And if I can get hold of these buttons before the glue gets cold, I'm going to put a button on each side. And just push them down. I can't get this button up, y'all. It's terrible, isn't it? Trying to do something, you can't get hold of your buttons. But see, he's got a button on each snout. That's for his nose, and he's got his eyes. Now I need to paint his feet, because we don't want his feet the same color as his body. We want his feet black. Get a little bit more paint down in there. I don't like to pour too much out. It's not a very good brush, I tell you. But all you got to do is paint that bottle cap. The cap that was on that paint the little bottle cap on the very tip. That's his foot or his hooves. You want his hooves to be black. And it's kind of tricky because I did have a few minutes for my paint to dry during the time the camera had stopped. It's easier when you got something to hold it, you know. Stick your hand in the belly of the pig and you're able to hold it to paint the rest of it. And I go ahead and paint usually the bottom of it too. Just paint the bottle cap. That's what you're doing. And I'm actually painting the little piece next to the bottle cap too. Or trying to. We've got painted on the first one, but it's not cooperating as much on this one. Ain't it something how you can just take something you normally would just throw away and make something kind of neat out of it? Just takes a little bit of imagination, I guess. This is not a very good brush. And like I said, it don't have to be perfect. I don't think anything in this world is ever perfect. But this is a fun project. I mean, I like doing stuff like this. And I need just a little bit more glue. I mean, not glue, but paint. I guess I got this stuff from my dad. He loved to paint. He loved to do all kind of woodwork. And he never went to art school. But that man could paint anything he wanted to paint. Portraits, cartoons, you name it. He could paint it. Thought I got the bottom of that one. I guess I didn't. Maybe over time I'll get better with my videos. I'll be able to figure out how to place my camera better and all that. All that good stuff. I've got one more leg with one more foot. And you might hear my microwave going in the background. I'm thawing out some spaghetti sauce. Because I thought maybe that's what I'd fix myself for supper since I haven't eaten yet. Yeah, I missed getting all my tomatoes this year. That heat just destroyed my tomato bushes, and I didn't get that many tomatoes. And you know, I'm getting a few right now, but not that many. I was able to fix a few cartons of, or containers, small containers of tomato sauce the first of the summer. But then my poor tomatoes just burn up. I mean, they couldn't produce anything in the heat. It's just too hot. I'm making a mess. Making a big old mess. I just saw a couple of spots on his little curly tail that I didn't get earlier. And it's not a big deal, but since I saw him and I still got some of that paint, I decided I'd go ahead and paint the little spots I saw that I didn't get earlier. Now, yeah, since the pig has dried a little bit, I can see spots that I missed. But get up here closer so you can see him. There's the pig. See his eyes? Maybe I can get the camera down here so you can see it. And I'm not finished with him yet, but the thing of it is, I can't do any more to him until he dries. Let's get this camera, if I can get it. Oh, heck. But he's in better light over here, so you can see him a little bit better. See his eyes and the two buttons I put down there on his spout for his nose. And he's got his ears, his feet, and then his little curly Q tail back there. And I've just got it all up in some more paint, so I'm going to have to repaint part of that. I just knew that camera had turned off a minute ago whenever I dropped it. So glad it didn't. Problem is turning it around and all this stuff. I got paint on one of the feet. The tan paint, and I don't want that tan color. Or that flesh color. Yeah, he's not quite the same color as the other one. Because the other one was more of a pink, I guess. But, there's the pig. Raise this up a tiny bit. I either get it raised too high or too low. And when the paint dries, I'm actually going to bend his ears over. Because pigs, when you see them, their ears are like sticking up halfway, and then the top half is kind of like dropped over. So as soon as the paint dries, I'm going to bend those down. I should have done it before I painted it, but I didn't think about doing it. So I'll have to wait till after the paint dries, and then I'll take a pair of pliers or just take my hand and bend it. And I may have to repaint a little bit of it when I do that, but that's okay. But there's a little pig planter. And you'll see he'll look better when his ears are flopped over. I just wished I'd have noticed that and realized that I needed to bend them over before I painted them. But you know, that's going to be real cute sitting outside in the yard. I'm going to get something planted in it. But yeah, when his ears are flopped over, you'll be able to see his eyes better. I mean, you can see him from the front, but when you go to the side, you can't see his eyes because his ears are sticking up. But once I bend them down, they're going to be bent just about there, so you'll be able to see his eyes. And with that, I am going to bid you a farewell. I've enjoyed doing this and showing you how to make the pig planter. And I hope some of you attempt to make one, because I think you'll enjoy it. I think the next one I make, I'm going to see if I can find me a bigger jug, a bigger plastic body. And then I'm going to get tops of some stronger plastic bottles to make the legs out of. So the hot glue gun won't actually melt the leg, the plastic so bad. But my pig looks like he's laying down the way I got his legs on there. Or looks like he's trying to lay down. And like I said, I should have stuck him down lower, but that's okay. I mean, he's a pig planter. He's not a real pig, so doesn't matter. And with that, I am going to bid you a good day. I'm going to go ahead over here and finish fixing my supper. Please like, share, subscribe to my videos, and y'all have a blessed night. Well, I guess you can see, y'all, that I decided to move the ears on my pig. I realized I had them too far down, so I just rearranged it and got his ears up here behind his eyes. So that's what I'm doing right now, is getting the hot glue up there. Trying not to make a mess with it. That glue gets all stringy. If you've ever worked with hot glue, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's easy enough to get it off later, but it is aggravating when it gets all stringy. But see where I can get that you can see that better. This is basically my pig. And you can see I put the ears up above his eyes, behind his eyes, so it looks better. And I kind of roughed up his cheekbones and stuff, because I know he's not all smooth in those areas, so try to make him look as not lifelike, but at least halfway. And what I'm going to do now is just let that completely dry. Just let it completely dry. And then I'm going to take a clear sealer. And if you have it in a spray can, you can just spray it with the sealer. Or you can just paint it on. And with me, I've got mine in a paint can. So I'm just going to paint it on. But I do need to wait until it's all nice and dry before I paint it on. But after that, all I've got to do is fill it full of potting soil, put me a plant in there, and put it out in the yard. And he's done. But he'll be a nice addition to the garden, I think. Yeah, it's more realistic to have his ears back behind his eyes, not down on his cheekbones. And I didn't realize I'd done that till after I got it painted most of the way. But, you know, this is just a make-believe pig, so you can do anything you want to with him. Make him any color you want. Basically, do whatever you want to do with your pig. And I'm just touching him up before I get rid of this container that I've had it in. Need to put hot glue right there on that one. I noticed I didn't put it there. Yeah, that would have worried me to death if I had to move those ears.